Hi guys, good day to everyone. Today we will try to model this knuckle joint. So we will consider this as two videos, part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we will try to model all the parts which is available here. Once we complete it, we will go for part 2, which is assembling this particular models. So this video, we are going to deal with modeling of all the parts in knuckle joint. So when you refer this particular figure, you can able to see that there are 5 parts available for this knuckle joint. The first one is fork, which is shown here. So the fork, it is given a front view as well as the top view for this particular fork. So the next one is eye. So we have eye, which is this one. It also has a front view as well as a top view. The next one is pin. So here you can able to see this pin which is available here. We're going to model this one. And the fourth one is collar. You can able to see this is our collar. And the last one is taper pin, which is available here. So we will try to model one by one. So first we will start with this fork. In the front view as well as in the top view, you can able to see there is a dimension which is indicated as this square with 30. This means that the cross section of this particular model is a square one. And here it is mentioned that octagon inscribed in the square 30, which means so I have to model a square, then I have to model an octagon with respect to that. Okay, before we start with these things, first we will try to model this particular part. Open your Creo, click select working directory. I already have it a favorite, so this is my Creo model. So the one what we are going to model is exercise 10. I'll right click and create a new folder called as ex10. So this is the folder where I am going to model my knuckle joint. Now let me click new. The first model what we are going to do is fork. So name it accordingly. So name it as given in the description. It is mentioned as fork. Let me name it as fork. Uncheck this use default template and then click OK. Here let us choose MMNS part solid and select OK. If I look at this particular model, I am going to model this particular shape, and as we discussed earlier, we have to complete all our addition operation. Later we can go for the subtraction. So let us try to draw this particular rectangular shape. So select revolve, select front datum plane. Now I will try to draw a center line. I will put a center line here. Now I will try to model a rectangle like this. I am going to model two rectangles, one here, other one on the bottom. So similar to that. If you look here, the dimension of these two rectangles are 17.5 and 17.5. So double click this, change it to 17.5. And this also, it is 17.5. Next, the distance with respect to that. So the diameter is 50. It is mentioned here. In that case, this has to be diameter 50. Next, the total distance mentioned here in between these two is 30. So which means this has to be 15 and this has to be 15. So now the part is over. Let me click OK. So I can able to see a shape similar to this. Let me click OK. Now let us try to model this part. So here it starts from here with a circular shape and it goes like this. And of course the entire thing in the top view, it looks as it is having a distance of 30. So go to extrude, select the front plane, give to sketch view. Now I will select these two as references. I will select this as a reference, this as a reference. Similarly, the other two as well as the middle one as a references. Now, if I look here from the center, you have an arc which is of radius 30 and radius 15. So let me create a circle instead of an arc. So from here, let me draw two circles here. So 1 as well as 2. The distance with respect to this is 30. One of the radius is 30, other is 15. This has to be, it is mentioned as diameter, so it has to be 60. The other one has to be 30. So now you got this circle. Let me connect it with respect to a line. So I'm going to draw a line from here, from the midpoint. So drawing till it touches the circle. Similarly below also we will draw a line till it touches the circle. So here also at the center you will draw a line up to this middle part. Similarly at the center we will try to draw a line up to this middle part. Now we will trim this. We don't want this one, this, 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 this as well as this. So I can able to see a U-type shape here. We will proceed with this too, which is having a rectangular. It's a rectangular shape of 30. So I'll just draw a rectangle somewhere here inside this U, something like this. Let us check what is the dimension with respect to that. The dimension of this rectangle is 30. It is perfectly fits. So I'll undo this. But the rectangle, the distance is 125 from the center of this. Create a dimension from here to the center. The dimension has to be 125. Now we'll try to trim whichever is not necessary. Go to trim, delete this. This is related to rectangle, not the other one. Similarly, this one. Okay. So this piece also we will remove it. I think I deleted that rectangle shape, the original distance. So I will go for trim. So let me connect this by means of a line. I'll connect it with respect to this. Similarly, I'll connect this with respect to this. I will trim this too. Now we'll go for fillet, circular trim, select this too. Similarly, select this too. The radius of this is 24. So double click, change it to 24. So this is the shape. Let me click OK. So this has to be extruded as a symmetrical way. Let me click symmetry, and the depth is 30 since it is mentioned as a square. So I am mentioning at 30. Let me click OK. I need to add one more, which is the shaft. The shaft, it shows a symbol here. It indicates that it is infinite. So what we will do is we will just draw a shaft for a particular distance. So go to extrude, select this surface, go to sketch view, go to references, select this two as a reference so that I will get the center point of here. Now go to circle, draw a circle. The diameter of the circle is mentioned as 25. So change this to diameter 25. We click OK. So it may be at any distance. So let me consider that as 25 also. Let me click OK. Now we completed our additional operation. Let us go for some subtraction operations. The first subtraction operation is here. I have to make a hole. Click extrude, select the top face, go to sketch view. In circle, I will go for concentric circle. Select this circle, I will draw one more circle here. The diameter of the circle is 25. We double click, change it to 25. Click OK. So now it is added. Let me change my direction. It automatically considers a remove material. Here, instead of providing a depth, I will go for through all, which means for the entire thing, it has to create a hole. So when I give this, you're able to see it creates a hole for the entire depth. We click OK. Next, we will concentrate on this one, octagonal shape, which is at a distance of 37.5. To do this, let us select extrude, select this face where I'm going to cut the octagon. We click this, go to sketch view, go to references, select the center plane as a reference. Now in palette, select octagon shape. So you have octagon shape here, double click, put it here, close this. Now I'll just drag this and I'll keep it at the center. It is asking a radius. We don't know what is the radius of this. I may click OK. Now let us create some dimensions. Go to dimension. I will create a dimension from here to this end. This 6.34 I don't want. I will delete that. Instead I give this as 0. Okay, see, automatically it fits on that particular shape. Let me click OK button. So it is just adding a material. Let me change this direction. So give a depth of 37.5. So I can able to see that it is removing a material, but the material side has to be changed. Change this as a material side. Once this is over, let me click OK. Now, only thing is I have to make a fillet. Click round. By pressing Control, you click one of the side, press Control, select the other side. This edge, and this one. So just increase a dimension with click this as extend surface to get a smooth curve. We don't know the dimension here, so let me consider this as 7. So this completes our first model, which is 4. Let me save this. Let us continue for the next model. Now we will try to model the next part, which is I. Open your Creo. Make sure your selected directory is SX10. Click new. Now the name of this part is I. Uncheck this use default. Click OK. Select MMNS part solid. Then click OK. So here first, as per the same procedure, we will complete this 50 mm diameter circle. Go to extrude. Click sketch view. Draw a circle at the center. The diameter of the circle is 50. Click OK. So extrude it in a symmetrical way. The length of the extrusion is mentioned as 30. So give it as 30. Click OK. Now select the center face. So the plane based on that. Go to extrude, select that center plane. Go to sketch view. Now I will try to draw a rectangular shape. So if you look at this figure, from the center, the rectangle has to be at a distance of 100 and the size of this is to be 30. So this is 30. In that case, this has to be 15, half of the total distance. Next, dimension from here to here. Give it as 100. Let me click OK. Make sure again it has to be a symmetrical extrusion and the depth has to be 30. Click OK. Next, we will concentrate on this octagon. So we'll cut that octagon. It has to be 37.5. So go to extrude, select this face, go to sketch view. So take a palette, select octagon, double click and put it here. Now make sure it is at the center. Click OK. So now let us create a dimension from here to this end. So instead of the 4.1, I'm going to use that dimension. This has to be 0, which means it has to connect with this to this. So the shape is proper now. Let me click OK. So invert the depth direction, and this has to be 37.5. And of course, you change your material direction. So this is how it has to be. Click OK. Now go to round, select the edge, select the first edge. By pressing Ctrl, select all the other edges. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can able to see that it is not proper here because it is not extended. So click this extend surface to make it proper. So you can able to see it is now in a proper direction. Let me click OK. So the last part is I have to go for extrude, select this face, sketch view, draw a circle. The circle has to be at a diameter of 25. Extrude it for 25. Click OK. Now I have to create a hole in this. Go to extrude, select the top face, sketch view, go for concentric circle. So this has to be 25. Double click this, change this to 25. I click OK. So invert the direction, automatically it creates as a hole. Make sure it is a through hole. So full depth hole. I click OK. So if you want, you can also include a round here. So by selecting this edge and this edge, and you can specify that as radius 10. So this is not done for the fork one. If you want, you can also include that. So this completes our eye. Let me click save. Click OK. So the next part is we will concentrate on this pin. So pin is just an extension of this particular rod, and it is a revolved type of section. So we will try to draw an L shape and we will try to revolve it, and so that you can able to get it as a pin. Click new. So this has to be pin. Uncheck this use default template. Click OK. MMNS part solid. Click OK. Now go to revolve. Select the front view. Go to sketch view. First put a center line. Now I will try to create a L shape here. Now if you look at the dimension, this has to be 80 and this has to be 10. So instead of 344, this is 80 plus 10. So it has to be 90 and this has to be 80. Similarly, the diameter is 25 and the outer diameter is 38. So this diameter is 25 and the diameter with respect to this. So let me create a dimension from here. So what happens here is it shows something as a equal length. This is equal. So I will delete that. So I will make it as 38. So this has to be 38 by 2. Okay, because this is considering as a radius, whereas this is a diameter. Okay, that's why I mentioned this as 38 by 2. So that's the dimension. Let me click OK. So I can able to get this pin. We click OK. Now, if I consider this pin, so at the top of this pin, you have a tapered hole. So it is mentioned that the taper is 1:50. What it means? So it means that for 50 mm, there will be a reduction of 1 mm or increase in 1 mm. If we check here, this side it is 5. So the other side, if I consider the total distance here, the diameter is mentioned as 25. So for 50 mm, 1 mm will be reduced. So in that case, for 25 mm, 0.5 mm will be reduced. So this side has to be 5 mm diameter. The other side should be 5 minus 0.5, which is 4.5 mm diameter. So model it accordingly. So how to do this? You have to go for revolve option and you have to make a revolve cut. So let's do that. Go to revolve, select one of the faces, datum plane. Now create a center line. So the distance of the center line. So they mentioned that the dimension from here to here, the center line distances, it is given as 11.5. So this has to be 11.5. Now I'll zoom a little bit. I will try to draw a line with respect to this. So I will draw a line from here up to this. Okay, I'll draw a trapezium like this. So if I look at the dimension, this has to be 5 and this has to be 5 minus 0.5, which is 4.5. So small taper. Let me click OK. So it creates as a solid object. Click remove material. So this will remove it. Let me click OK. So this completes our pin model. Save this. We will concentrate on this small collar. So the collar is also similar to a pin. So but we will just extrude it and we will make it accordingly. So it is having a diameter of 38 and 25 and the depth is 10. So save this file, go to file, close, click new. So the name of the model is collar. Uncheck this use default template, click OK. Choose MMNS part solid. Click OK. Now go to extrude, select any one plane, sketch view. So draw two circles. So one has a diameter of 38, the other has a diameter of 25. Click OK. Make sure it is symmetrically extruded and the depth has to be 10. So this is my first model. Next, we will concentrate on tapered pin. To look here, so this side it is 6 and the other side we have to identify what is the value. So if I consider the total distance, the diameter is 38. So the taper it is mentioned as 1. So for 50 mm, there is a reduction of 1 mm. If you have 38 mm, the reduction will be 38 by 50. Go to revolve, select the center plane, sketch view, draw a center line at the center. Now go for a line. From here, I am going to draw something like this, like a similar to your tapered object. So if I consider the length of this line, so I will create a dimension. The length has to be 38. Okay, so that it touches here. So this side, the dimension is 6. This side, for 50 mm, 1 mm reduction. For 38 mm, 38 divided by 50. So how much? It is 0.76 mm reduction. Okay. So what I will do, so this has to be 6 minus 0.76. So 5.24. That is the other side depth. Let me click OK. So it is creating as an extrude part. Let me click remove material to remove this entire thing. Okay. Now let me click OK. So this completes our collar. Let me save this. So the last part is a taper. So taper is, you have one side it is 6.5, the other side it is 44. It's just a revolve command. So you are going to revolve it accordingly. Go to new. The part name is mentioned as taper pin. So here if you want to mention the name, it should not be in space. So you type it as taper underscore pin. Don't give any space, it won't accept. Uncheck this use default template, click OK. So purposefully I am going to make this model in inches, because you have to know what happens when you are assembling. One component will be in a larger size and the other component will be in mm. So because this is in inches, so you should know how to convert it during that time. So for that I am choosing this as inches. You try to model it in millimeter. Click OK. So click revolve, go to, you select any one datum plane, go to sketch view. I'll just put a center line. So let me put a taper pin here. So it has to be like this. Okay. So this side, it is mentioned as 6.5. Double click, I will change it as 6.5. And if I consider the total length, it has to be 44. I go to dimension, create a dimension. This has to be 44. Now the other side, so again, it is also taper 1:50. For 50 mm, 1 mm is reducing. So for 44 mm, so 44 divided by 50, that is the reduction, which is 0.88. So let me double click. So this has to be 6.5 minus 0.88, because the other side is 6.5. I click OK. Okay, it has to be 5.62. So let me click OK. So you have a pin like this. Let me click OK. So save this file. So this completes all the parts in our knuckle joint. The next process is we'll go for assembly. So try to complete this before proceeding for any assembly part. We will discuss in the next video. Thank you.